And we are live, brother. Welcome to Chords and Chaos, my friend.
How you doing?
Pretty good yourself?
I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right.
You had a good day so far?
Yeah. Just worked a lot and went and picked up a couch with my family and you know, just hanging out.
All right. Sounds pretty awesome. So if you don't mind, introduce yourself and tell me where you're from.
Yeah, so my name is Brian. I'm the vocalist for a band called Amongst the Giants and I'm from Fort Lauderdale, Florida,
Heck yeah.
down in the south.
I think if I'm not mistaken, have you ever heard of a band called Southpaw?
Yes, it sounds familiar.
They're a little more heavy, but
Yeah.
they're from Florida. They're really good.
Do
The
you know where
company I
from
work
Florida?
for. You said what?
You know where from Florida?
Uh, I want to say they're from like the Melbourne area
Okay.
or like Cocoa Beach, somewhere in that. I don't
Okay.
know. I don't know my Florida demographics. Even though I'm from Georgia, I should know all that.
No. Yeah, that's probably about like 2.5, 3 hours away from where I am.
Yeah, my little brother lives in Jacksonville, so
Okay, nice. And
he
no, like
likes it.
like Bring Me the Horizons from Ocala, which is up there.
That's
Oh,
my shirt.
nice, nice.
Oddly enough, yes, sir. So, you're in amongst the
I'm
Giants,
sorry,
and
not Bring Me the Horizon. They're from Britain.
yeah, I
I
was
mean,
gonna say,
no, I'm talking about what's that band from Ocala? A Day to Remember.
yeah,
That
Day to
one.
Remember ADTR.
Yeah.
Yes,
Anyway,
they're
sorry.
no, they're you're
I had to
good. They're
correct
a great
myself.
band too. So, let's see here. How did you all meet and decide to form a band? And tell me how you came up with the name.
So Amongst the Giants started. We we officially started in 2017. But we were forming it around like probably like 20 like 2014 through 2016 ish era. we
Right.
were we were kind of like starting to form things and all that, and it started with just me and our guitar player Marco.
Okay.
And we've been friends for over 20 years at this point. I've known him since he was 5.
Oh wow.
And yeah, so we we went to, we knew each other in church and all that stuff. We went to camps together and all that stuff. Went on vacations and all that. And at one point, we had decided that we wanted to start a band, and we started bands in high school and everything like that, like just like doing local bands, and we got like a touring gig going and all that. We had the opportunity to go on the run with a couple of bands and like really like kind of like get our start to what touring looked like.
Uh huh.
And this is all with like other bands too. Like this is all like being in other bands, but we kept in contact with some of our contacts and all that stuff, like guys like 7 Day Slumber and all that. We had
They're
met.
amazing. I'm trying to get them on my podcast as well, dude.
Yeah, man.
If you have connections to them, send them a message after this podcast and tell them, be like, hey, my buddy wants to get you on there.
Yeah, I'll try. I know like they've been real busy with touring and all that, but
Right.
I'm sure Joe would love to do it. But yeah, so we had gone the road with them, and we had gone the road with like other bands and all that. And at some point in college, we had decided to, stop. We were playing with so many other groups that we were like, why
Right.
don't we just form our own group? And this was like years after like being in groups in high school and all that, things had broken up and whatever. But
Right.
we were like, let's do a metal group. And um it had always been something where like I was always a drummer. So I was drumming in most of our projects that we were doing.
Hmm.
And there have been times where like messing around or like just like having fun, like we'd do things where we'd switch instruments and I'd go on vocals, whether it be like in our old band, or like in our old band doing like joke songs, or like in like at like graduation parties, like doing covers or something like that.
Right. Right.
um So I had, there had been like little random times where I would go and like be a front man, and like just because it's something I had never done, and like I'd always been back on the drums. And then we were like, oh, why don't we start a band? And like he's like, why don't we start something where you are a front man and all that? I'm like, I mean, yeah, I guess we could try. Let's go. So eventually, like, we had started writing some songs. Like some of the songs that we've written for Amongst the Giants, they have been songs that were like that we had written like beforehand, like in college or in high school.
Oh wow.
There are some songs that are actually, there's at least one song that which is Loyalty Measures, that we've had since high school.
Right.
And then like even like Lost in Translation, we started writing that when we were in college. Um and that ended up being like one of our bigger songs and all that to people. But essentially we had basically like decided like, hey, um let's cut it, let's really get serious about this. And we would decide to go and record a 4-song EP. We went to Jeremy Holderfield, and we had him produce like a 4-song EP for us and all that stuff. And in the midst of the 4-song EP, like while it was being mixed and produced and all that stuff, like after we had finished recording, I get a call. I get a call from Joseph Rojas, saying how, he's like, yo, I heard you guys are in the studio doing this, that, whatever. I'm like, yeah, it was cool. And he's like, hey, I'm starting a label. Do you want to be on it? And we're like, sure. Like, we had at this point, like Amongst the Giants had not played a show. We don't have any music actually like out there at this point.
Uh-huh.
And this guy's calling us like being like, hey, you want to join a label? Like, you want to be on the label? We're like, sure. So that's kind of how we started.
And then you were probably in a rush because you're like, oh crap, we gotta get all this together.
Well, like 2018 was like that, like because we started recording and all that in 2017. That's when we started like making decisions and really getting over recording, start branding and all that. And then 2018 is when things really hit the fan running, because we had just gone on vacation for like New Year's, and it's like January like 3rd or 4th or something like that. I'm on my way home. Like me and my family are on our way home back to Florida from North Carolina, which Marco's family was also on that vacation, but we're leaving and all that stuff. And I get the call like while I'm on my way home, and then rope Marco into it, get him in the conversation. We're like, all right, let's go forward. And then later on that month, we actually went back because we were planning to. Later on that month, like after we had gotten signed, he was like, well, I want to turn your 4-song EP into a 10-song album. So we're like, okay. And that ended up becoming Obscene, our first album. So we had decided like in, I think, January or February to go back and record like another song and all that stuff, because we needed to cut 6 more songs at this point.
Right.
And from there, he had asked if we can go on tour on the City Rock Fest tour. Marco to help with guitar stuff and me to help out with like production and lights and all that. So we had gone and done that. At the same time, we're starting to book things for Amongst the Giants. He put us on the Summer Rock Fest tour for that year. So we started booking for that and booking like festivals and all that stuff. So we had gone from recording real quick to go on vacation real quick to going back to record, going on tour for 3 months, coming back, recording the rest of the album, then going home for 2 weeks, then going to youth camp, like as youth leaders, Marco and I, and then immediately leaving from there to go on Summer Rock Fest tour. And we didn't get home till like August. So like in a span of like 6, 7, 8 months, We've been
Uh-huh.
home for like a total of like 5 weeks, something like that.
Oh wow.
Yeah, like four,
Now,
4 weeks.
can you tell me who's on this label with you guys?
I don't know, to be completely honest. I don't know like everyone's on. I know like Living Scars is on it.
Yeah, I was gonna
Seven
say I
Day
thought Living
Slumber.
Scar was also on there.
Yeah.
Uh,
Magdalene Rose is on there.
That she's fantastic. I really
Mhm.
like her, and that's honestly that's how I found discovered you guys.
Yeah.
Is I was listening to some of her, and then all of a sudden I was playing like a couple songs, and Spotify instantly, like after one of her songs went off, it plugged me into you, and I was like,
Yeah.
okay. I was
We've
like,
we
this is really good. I really like this.
yeah, we've toured with her a few times as well. We toured with her back in when she was in GFM and
Uh,
while she was Magdalene Rose. So yeah,
how do you actually pronounce her name?
Magdalene.
Magdalene. Okay.
Yeah.
So I've been saying it wrong the whole time. I've been telling
Oh,
people Magdalene.
Magdalene.
Yeah.
Magdalene.
I'm so,
Mandalorian.
yeah, I feel bad. I've been butchering the poor girl's band name. But yeah, I've been listening to her. I've been listening to 7 Day Slumber, Living Scars. You guys. I don't know what was the other one that I had on there.
I know they're not on it anymore, but the protest was
Yeah, and then I think what's the one called? Demon Hunter.
Demon Hunter. Yeah.
Yeah, Demon Hunter. I believe they're really good.
Yeah.
And
I
then
don't.
you got Sleepwalker
Yeah.
and Skillet, of course. I mean, I think everybody that knows anything about Christian rock and roll, they know about Skillet.
Yeah. For sure.
I mean, I think they're one of the marquees of that.
They're one of the biggest bands in the industry for it.
Right. So, tell me about the festival that you guys played, and how did
Sure.
you enjoy that?
So we just did Kingdom Come Fest
Right.
in Indiana. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. We got on stage and we played in the hot sun at 6 p.m. Um and in Indiana, like so Indiana is interesting. Like I love doing Indiana. Like we've done this festival, like I think this was like our 6th year in a row that we've done it. And but it's always at like a time where like the sun is
Right. It's
directly
the
on.
hottest part
It's like the
of the day,
hottest
right?
time.
Yeah.
And like even like this year, like I don't know how it is like every year, like every summer, but like this year, like it was like 9:30 and still light out.
Oh
Like it
wow.
was like still light, which is much different than like how it is like down in Florida. Like,
Right, and Georgia and whatnot.
it starts getting down and it starts getting dark around 8:30, whatever. But like it's like 9 o'clock and there's still sun out, which got me real confused. But yeah, I mean it was hot, but it was a lot of fun. We there's a lot of moshing and stuff like that.
Right.
A lot of good heavy moving and catching up with different friends and different fans and all that stuff. That's always like the fun part.
Right.
We know a lot of the guys in most of the bands and all that, so like hanging out with hanging out with people and all that is always fun.
Right. I bet that would be cool, especially when like you don't get to see them for a while, and then you come to the festival, and you like you said, you all know each other.
Yeah,
So it's like one big family group.
yeah, it's really fun.
That's awesome. Was how big do you think the crowd was?
I don't know actually. For
Or
us,
how big is the festival, I should say, I guess.
it's hard to say. So it's a cool thing because like it's a free festival. It's
Oh
all like
wow.
100% done on donations and all that stuff. So they it's 100% like put together on donations, sponsorships, and all that stuff.
Uh-huh.
And they collect as much from they try to collect as much from sponsorships and donations and all that stuff to get all the bands paid and to make sure that like they can they really like to do it for free. they want to make sure that like people don't have to pay
Right.
to come to the show, and like because they really want to bring people like and hear the message and all that stuff.
Exactly.
So they've always been really cool about that. As far as quantity, like I don't really know. Like I want to say like I mean probably like 500 people or so. I don't know,
Oh
maybe
wow, that's good turnout.
maybe less, maybe more. I'm not entirely sure. It depends on who's playing too.
And
Like
this is all Christian based, correct?
yes, this is a
Okay,
Christian festival.
that's awesome. That's awesome. My sister, unfortunately, she passed away in 2021 from COVID.
I'm sorry
Rest
to
in
hear that.
peace to my sister. But she was the lead preschool director of her church.
Oh
So
really?
yes, sir. So
In in Indiana?
in Georgia, here in
In
Georgia.
Georgia. Oh, okay.
Yes, sir. I'm originally grew up in Marietta, Georgia, and
Okay.
which is about, I don't know if you know your demographics for Georgia, but we're about 30 minutes north of ATL. So
Okay. So
I
that's
mean, most people that aren't from here, they call it Atlanta, but we don't
yeah.
add that extra TA. We just say Atlanta, and that's when you know that we're a local.
Yeah. Well, like
So,
whenever like I used to drive up to Nashville a lot. So like
right,
passing through those little all those little towns and all those little
right.
cities and all that. Because you never inevitably you have to go through Atlanta.
Uh
It's
huh.
you don't really have a choice. And the traffic is
Oh,
always
it's a
bad.
nightmare. It's
It's
a
terrible.
nightmare.
But it's like I mean, it's similar to like Miami traffic in a way
Uh huh.
where it's like I guess people are trying to go fast, but it's not really happening. Like I don't get how there's like so much traffic with like 5 lanes of highway,
Uh huh.
but
That's how it is out in Texas too. I used to live out in Dallas too,
yeah.
and Dallas, God, Dallas makes you want to pull your hair out too.
hmm They have a highway that's like 85 miles an hour though. So that's at least one thing that they have going for them.
Right, right. Let's see here. So, what inspires your music, and what themes do you explore in your songs?
Um, well, there's a lot of, I mean, obviously, like God
Right.
inspires, but our music and all that. There's also like, with musical inspirations, I guess like there's like one thing one band that inspires me a lot is Linkin Park.
Rest in peace, Chester.
Yeah, always loved Chester's vocals and all that. I still listen to them on like a daily basis. At least their old stuff. I haven't really like listened too much to the new stuff.
Yeah, I'm not a
Uh,
fan of the new stuff with them, to be honest. With the girl as the lead singer,
yeah,
it's not the same.
it's okay. Like it it's some of it sounds pretty good, but it's not the same. It's not Chester.
No,
It's
it's not Chester. So, and it's not Mike Shinoda. So,
yeah. So, Linkin Park's a big one. Under Oath was a big one for me. As far as like I guess as far as like topics and all that, like a lot of what we have like talked about like in our more recent stuff has been like more guided on like the mental health train and all that stuff,
right.
like different issues with mental health and resources and all that. Um, we have like we have Medicated that is like about like feeling like being tied down to medication and all that stuff, like just to feel like you have like a balance in your life.
Right.
Or you have like Black Box, which is about panic attacks. um and just we like each one of our songs like has like some sort of topic that either talks about like mental health or talks about like our personal struggles that we learn to overcome and
Right.
all that, and like figuring out like the best way to overcome things and everything like that. Reaching out. So that's where a lot of it comes from. Like there are definitely like some topical things. Like we have a song called Tomorrow, which is about um which is about like a essentially about like false teachers. It's about false teachers and this, like specifically like false pastors and all that. But
Uh-huh.
like it doesn't really like it could be like false teachers doesn't necessarily have to be a pastor, you know, but
Uh-huh.
it's mostly about like false teachers and all that based on like a personal experience of ours and everything like that, from like a pastor that we, you know, we had a relationship with, and then things ended up going sideways, like different things, like, you know, he was taking the church in a different direction and all that, and it wasn't, you know, it just wasn't a very like godly direction.
Right. It wasn't
And,
the right path that y'all wanted to follow.
yeah, and you know, so we separated from that, and you know, seeing some of the repercussions from it and all that, and seeing some of the, you know, some of the lies that have been said, or the lies that have been like told like throughout years and all that stuff that had resurfaced and all that. Um, you know, it just it made for you know, a bit of a betrayal and all that.
Right, right.
So we wrote a song about it, you know.
Yes,
And it's
sir.
kind of like it's kind of not it's not just like a negative thing too. It's not like a, oh, we're angry at this person, whatever. But it's
Uh-huh.
also in a way like, you know, it uses verses. It uses verses in there, like even like saying things like, you know, like as like a warning in a sense, like, you know, it's better to tie a stone to your neck than and throw yourself down in the ocean than to lead, you know, lead God's children astray and things like that. So like a lot of like what is said in there is you know, kind of like it's something that like we can take in ourselves to like to check ourselves and all that. I mean, it's all biblical,
Right,
like,
right.
you know, which is, you know, we use that and we use to check ourselves and all that, to live a godly life. And you know, but sometimes there is like harsh realities, you know.
Right. Now,
And
did did COVID really affect y'all's music making?
you know, it did, but it didn't. Because COVID during COVID, we started writing the Desolate Minds, our second
Uh-huh.
EP. We started right. I mean, I'm trying to think. Were there some songs that were on there? No, I think we pretty much wrote everything. Um, because I always go back to like, all right, what are songs that we've had for a very long that we've had like in our like heads for a very long time that have
Hmm.
finally become songs versus songs that we had, you know, written. But I'm pretty sure everything there was like written within that time frame. Um, but as far as like getting together and like doing it, um, it didn't really stop us too much because I think we went in early 2020 to start recording.
Right.
I think we came in late because we did our second EP with Kellen McGregor from Memphis Mayfire. And he had us in at the beginning of the year. And then I want to say he had us in either the end of 2020 or the beginning of 2021. Um, and a lot of this too, we were actually booking with him in 2019. We had he had, we had talked about like doing a EP with him and all that stuff, and we caught him at a show one time, and we're like, hey, you know, let's go and book some time, whatever. He's like, yeah, let's do it. So we went and booked time and everything like that, and then just went with it. Um, but I don't think it really. I mean, the only thing it really like would have halted, I guess, was like some of the timing. But
Uh-huh.
like, there's also the like the you know the financial part of it, where it's like, you know, make sure make sure everything's good to go on it and whatever, and you know, get like clearing everything first and everything like that, and then going with it. So you know, everything worked out with it. Because I think When did it come out? I don't remember if it came out 2021 or 2022. I want to say in 2021, Desolate Minds came out, but I could be completely wrong.
Hold on.
Um,
I can look on Spotify. Let's see.
let's see. It's crazy. I don't even know.
2022.
2022. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. Cool.
2022.
Yeah, because I know that I know Obscene came out in 2018.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. And it says 2018 for that, and then you had Desolate Minds. Now, are you guys working on a newer album?
We are. We're planning on getting back in the studio very soon. We've been writing at home and like bouncing ideas back and forth to each other.
Right.
And you know, we are planning on going back in this year and hopefully getting something out. Like hopefully getting a single out or something like that at towards the end of the year. We'll see.
It would be cool to see a 7-Day Slumber little feature on there.
Yeah. Well, he actually well, I guess technically you could say that, you know, their drummer Blaze is featured all over our first album
Right.
because he used to be in our band. But Joe actually I think is on what song is it called? It's on Obscene. It's the 5th song overall, and it is
It's on Obscene.
Yeah, liar.
Beneath the Weight.
Beneath the Weight. That's what it's called.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's a good one. I like that one.
Yeah, we've only played that song once, so you know, it's been a while since I actually heard it. But
right.
We played it once. We played it in Germany. For what's it called? Back when Christmas Rock Night was a thing. So we played it back in Germany, like along with like most of our other music at the time. Because at that time, like they're like, yeah, you have an hour set, and we were like, well, we only have like 40 minutes of content, like, and at that point too, we were also only like we had only been doing like 20-minute, like maybe like 25-minute long sets.
Right.
Like, yeah, you have like a 45-minute long set. We're like, oh my gosh. So
yeah. You're now, like, what do we do here?
Yeah. Nowadays it's nothing. Like nowadays, like we'll do a 45-minute long set like it's nothing, whatever.
Right.
Like, but before we were like, you know, like when we were first like getting into it, whatever, like, whoa, this is a lot, you know. But you know, you get used to it.
Now, do you have a song that per se like you wrote yourself and that you liked it and it made an album, but some of the other guys in the band were like, I don't know about that one. I don't know about that one. But you were sold on it and were like, nope, it's going through.
I guess a couple. I mean, like, I don't know if it was like, I don't know if we've had anything that like we've all like denied each other. I think it's more like we'll like add different, like what we'll do is like we'll present something and like we'll add different parts to it. For example, I wrote basically in its entirety The Judge.
Okay.
And that was another song that like I had written like in college. Initially it was a song that I wrote for my college what's it called, senior project, where I had to write my own EP and record an EP and all that stuff and all that, you know, whatever. So I had written The Judge in college during that time. And we, you know, and this was actually wrote it with Marco. He helped. Well, he had recorded everything, like recorded the guitars and all that stuff, recorded the clean vocals, everything like that. And I turned it in for my senior project, whatever. And then when we went to go redo like when we went to go like do more music and all that stuff for the album, we were like, well, we can add The Judge. I mean, it's pretty heavy and all that. We just need to change the chorus
Right.
because we had written this song and we liked the song. We hated the chorus every single time we wrote a chorus for it. The chorus was terrible. We hated it every single time, and to the point where like I had like I guess like released it like 3 separate times. Like released it with the senior project, which had a chorus that we didn't really like. I don't even remember how it goes. We released the song again, like As Amongst the Giants of solo. Or did we? Yeah. We released it again, like just solo before we were like on a label and all that stuff. And we still didn't like the chorus at that point, whatever. And then when we were recording our EP with Jeremy and all that, and we had it turned into an album, they're like, hey, let's just turn it into an album, re-record that song, and we'll do that. And we're like, okay, that works. We'll probably write a new chorus anyway. So pretty much like the majority of the song, like the entire structure of the song is almost exactly the same to when it was first written on MIDI. It's like I wrote this all like on MIDI, like on Logic. So like I wrote like the guitar parts and all that stuff, the bass parts, like all the different parts, the drum parts and everything like that. I wrote it all on MIDI. And then I was like, here, this is what it is on MIDI. Play on guitar, learn it, whatever.
Right.
And we record it. And we'll just record the vocals on top of whatever. So that's how that was written at first. And then when we brought back into the studio, like basically like the entire structure was the same, minus like we added like some extra like guitar ear candy in there. Like there's some parts that either Marco or Jeremy had like taken the liberty to just kind of like add some like little guitar things in there, because that's that's what they do. That's they're guitar players. They know what sounds good and all that. Like
Exactly.
I wrote like a skeleton and was like, this is the skeleton. If you like the riff, cool, but I'm open to whatever. I just like the skeleton of how everything is. And most of the stuff was pretty much like verbatim, minus the choruses. We finally wrote a chorus that we liked. And even like back when we had recorded it in college, I had these 2 guys that were my friends back in college that were both featured on the song. They were if you listen to the song and you listen to like right before like the last like breakdown where it shows like your words are wasting my time, makes you sick just to hear you speak, that whole part was all sung by 2 different guys that like just 2 different guys that we knew that were in other bands and all that. So and been friends with them for a long time. I like their vocals, so I was like, let's get it on there or whatever. Back in college when we recorded it. Now, when we went to go bring it in the studio, they're like, hey, I don't know if we can keep this part in here. Like, they didn't record it here. And it's also like, we want to get better quality stuff and we want to get something with you on it. And we're like, okay, I don't mind re-recording this part. I do, however, want to have them, like, I want their vocals to stay in the who are you to judge part. Because that part had like, if you listen to it, like when it does like the those are 4 different vocals. Those aren't like, that's not like a couple vocals like a couple of vocals like tracked here and there, whatever. It's 4 different people all together, like doing that harmony. That who are you to judge? Like it's 4 completely different people doing that harmony.
That's pretty awesome, actually.
Yeah. And it was cool that they let us keep that in there, like at least that,
Right.
So that was one thing, like, and I think like I guess that's like one thing that was like, yeah, like I want to keep that in, like don't take that out, whatever. And I mean, like I feel like most people like that part, I guess, I don't hear anyone complain about it, so.
No, the reason I asked you this question is because you've obviously heard of the band Silverstein and Shane Told.
Yeah. Yep.
So I don't know if you heard the song My Heroine. That's one of their biggest songs.
Yeah.
So when they first made that, Shane, he originally wrote that song, and they were living in somewhere in Canada, and they had a 1-bedroom apartment, and
Mhm.
Shane was living in the in like the closet of the apartment, and that was
Okay.
he turned that one little closet, little small closet, he turned it into his own little studio where he would go in and he would just sit in there and write. And he said
Nice.
he started writing, and he came out with it, and he was like, "Yo, I got a song, guys," and he read it to everybody. They're like, "No," they're like, "Absolutely not, absolutely not." They're like, "We're not going with this," and Shane was like, "Yeah, we are. Like, if
Mhm.
y'all don't like it, too bad. I'm the lead singer and we're gonna do this." And they
Yeah.
were like, "Dude, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work." And he took it amongst himself, being a lead singer, sent it out, and they did everything that, like you said, with guitars and whatnot, came up with the vocals, rest of the vocals, and here we are, 25 years later. It's one of their biggest songs they ever made.
Yep.
So
That's
I
what
think
happens.
sometimes you just gotta, you gotta follow your heart. And
I mean, it's kind of like Linkin Park has like a similar thing with that. Although
right.
it's not as an extreme. Um, like it was always very like not known, but it was always like people had always said like, oh, Chester doesn't like what's it called? In the end,
Right.
people always said like Chester doesn't like In the End and all that, and you know, and Mike had come on and like kind of explained a little more with that. He's like, it's not that he didn't like it. He just, Chester liked the heavier stuff.
Uh-huh.
So when we went to go do it in the end, he's like, man, I don't want to do that. That's, it's not heavy, whatever. And it's like, oh, but it's a good song. I'm like, okay, we'll give it a try, whatever. It ends up being like, In the End is one of their biggest songs.
Right, because Mike originally wrote that, correct?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right, Mike. I believe Mike did write that one. Now, if you could work with anybody, who would be your top two?
Top two. That's hard to say. Like top two right now,
Either right now or just in general.
Oh my gosh. Are we talking about like on like a song collab, a tour, like?
Just, yeah, I guess if you wanted to make a song together, or if they called you right now and were like, "Let's go on
Like
tour together," you'd be like,
yeah.
"Absolutely, let's do it."
Yeah. It's hard to say. I mean, I know Marco for sure would say August Burns Red, and
Right.
that's not a wrong answer for me.
Uh-huh.
You know, I'm pretty open with things. Like, I mean, I would work with August Burns Red. I'd work with
I know you mentioned Under Oath earlier.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind like working with Under Oath. Anything's possible. Ice Nine Kills is a good one.
Yeah.
That I like. I'm trying to think. Like, I mean, there's a lot of people that I would work with, and a lot of people that I, would love to meet and work with. Whatever. It's
Being
just
from
like
Florida, it would be cool to see y'all with A Day to Remember. Even though
yeah,
a
that would be
little
cool.
different style, but it would still be, I think, pretty cool.
Yeah, no, I mean, like I love those guys too. Like, but yeah, I mean, like working with them would be cool. I mean, like I would work with Mike Shinoda. I would much rather work with Chester, but I would absolutely work with like any of those legends, like James Hetworth. Yeah, I mean,
Go ahead. Sorry.
no, yeah, no. I was gonna say like, yeah, that's
I don't know if you've seen recently, Ozzy, obviously with Black Sabbath, he
Yes.
did the final tour, and
Yep.
he brought Youngblood along with him on the
Yeah.
tour, and Youngblood gave him a cross. And
Yeah. So Ozzy had given him a cross beforehand, like for like they did like a collab.
uh-huh.
I guess like I don't remember if it was like I think Ozzy came on one of his songs. I think it was.
Yeah,
And
I believe you're right.
yeah, they did a collab, and Ozzy gave him like this, like I think like a gold cross, whatever.
Right.
So later on for this run and this the show and everything like that, he came to him and gave him a cross. He's like, look, you gave me a custom cross, whatever. I want to give you a custom cross. And but yeah, like it seems like he like he really likes him. Like a lot of people are saying like, oh, he's like kind of becoming like Ozzy's like successor kind of thing in a way. Which
I agree.
is
And
interesting.
I was watching the video where he was giving it to Ozzy, and it was kind of funny because at first, before
Yeah.
he presents it to him, he had his shirt kind of up, and Ozzy poked at his belly button and was like, "Yo, what's that tattoo?" And Kelly, his daughter, looked at Ozzy and was like, "Dad." And Ozzy like looks over like, "Dude, I'm not doing nothing. I'm asking him about his tattoo." And then that's when
Yeah.
he got presented that, and he was like, "Oh, okay." He's like, "Good Lord, I thought you were yelling at me, Kelly."
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that would have been somebody that would be
Ozzy.
really,
Yeah.
yeah. Ozzy, I think Ozzy would be cool to go tour it with.
Yeah, I
Unfortunately,
honestly like I wish I went to that show because my dad and I were supposed to go to an Ozzy like he was supposed to go on tour like before he canceled it because of his health and all that stuff.
right,
But the last tour he was supposed to go on, he was supposed to come through here, like come through Florida, and then the tour got canceled because he was just in bad health and everything like
right.
that, dealing with Parkinson's and everything. It would just be like a really cool like moment of history kind of thing.
Yeah,
It's like this is like what people consider the the grandfather of metal kind of thing. Like
right. He's
grandfather
like
of
the
metal.
Willie Nelson of metal.
Yeah. You know, like black everyone's very much considered Black Sabbath as the the progenitors of metal, like the ones who started metal,
I
you
agree.
know?
Let's
So
see here. So can you walk us through? Or wait, I already asked that. I'm sorry. What's your approach to recording, and do you have a preferred studio or producer that y'all work with?
So I do like working with Kellen.
Uh-huh.
I've worked with a couple of producers. I've worked with Jeremy Holderfield. I've worked with Kellen McGregor. I've worked with Josiah Prince.
And you said Kellen, like as in Kellen Quinn?
No, Kellen McGregor from Memphis
Oh,
Bayfire.
okay.
I worked with Kellen McGregor from Memphis Bayfire. I've worked with Josiah Prince from Disciple. I've worked with Jeremy Holderfield, who was formerly Seventh Day Slumber. I've worked with a couple other people like here and there as well.
Now, did Matty Mullins leave that band,
No,
Memphis Mayfire? No, he's
no,
still there.
he's still there. He's now in Amberlin as well.
Okay, that makes
Yeah.
sense.
So he's in Amberlin. He is doing that, and he's doing Memphis. And their last album was great. Like they did it right. Like they really they released everything as singles and all that stuff, and like got all their singles like up there in the ranks and all that. And then once they released all their singles, they just slapped it all on an album and then got even more plays from that. So
Oh wow.
like very very smart way of doing things. Like Falling in Reverse did a very similar thing where like most of their the singles that they have on there, like they most of their album like were singles, and most of their singles had like gone gold already. So they went and threw all the singles on an album and then threw other songs on there, and the album went gold.
That's
So it was
crazy.
like just very smart ways of doing that. But as far as me, Yeah, I mean, like I enjoyed working with Kellen. I would work with him again in a heartbeat. I mean, I enjoyed all the guys, all those guys. I
Uh-huh.
do like um I do like how like Kellen's mixes, and I also do like how like I like how both of them do vocals, but I do really like how Josiah runs his vocal chain as well.
Uh-huh.
Um so I would work with either one of those guys again, like in a heartbeat. Um as far as like my recording process, like you mean like what I like how do I like get ready for it? Like what do you mean?
I guess by that, like, do you have like one that you go into and you just look at it and you're like, okay, I love this studio setup. It's got everything that I need,
Mhm.
right? It's not too hard to like get everything set up because it's already set up.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like I like going in there. What I like to make sure I'm warmed up. I what I like to do is I like to which a lot of these studios like will have prepared, like not prepared, but like they'll have it ready. Like
Right,
I like to drink tea and all that stuff. Like drink some tea, keep some honey on hand. And I'll use it to like kind of like sip in between takes and all that.
right.
So that way,
To get
like,
your voice nice and
yeah, and like making because you can do that on stage, but it's kind of hard.
uh-huh,
Um, you know, but like really like being able to have like tea and honey like ready like for all that
uh-huh.
like really helps, especially if you're warmed up and everything, because it's a it is a little bit more of a controlled environment like in the studio. Like there is a little more give and take with like um I guess like performance wise, because you are there like trying to get like your best performance. Like
Right,
yes, you want to get your best performance live as well, but you really are like capturing your best performances while you're in the studio, which is such a fun process because it's like sometimes you're in there and you don't even like you'll go and you'll do something like you'll like hit a note or something like that you've never hit before, or like you'll do something where like, man, I've never made that sound before, I've never sound like that before, like
right,
um and it's not like a pride thing, it's just kind of like I mean, I guess it is a little bit of a pride thing, but it's more of like you're um it's being brought out of you in a
uh-huh,
way. Like, and that comes with like being with a good producer, like being with a good producer, recording engineer, like they'll get that out of you.
right,
They'll ask you questions or give you directions on like, hey, sing it like this, sing it with more grit, try and get this kind of like breathe, like trying to like see if you can get like this kind of breathing going on, whatever, to different things to try and get like the best or coolest sounding takes.
right.
So that whole process is a lot of fun to me.
Now, and it's funny that you were naming the dude from Memphis May Fire because they used to be one of my favorites. I haven't listened to them in a long time. Probably need to pick back up on them because I
Yeah,
heard they got some pretty good stuff going right now for them.
yeah, they got some pretty good stuff right now.
But when they were like first getting big, Hot Topic used to sell all the T-shirts back
Oh
when
yeah,
Hot Topic was cool. Now you go in Hot Topic, it's all like Justin Bieber type stuff. I was like, what
yeah.
happened to old Hot Topic?
Well, now it's a lot of Sleep Token. So I
Okay.
see a lot of Sleep Token at Hot Topic.
I can't get behind him. I really can't.
No,
I just don't see everybody's hype behind him.
I think a lot of it's mostly like
Yeah.
his voice and the atmosphere behind it.
Hmm.
I mean, 'cause I listen to their music and stuff like that, but I'm a very late bloomer, like
Right.
with it. Like
And
I
I
didn't
think
get,
it's the outfits too that he wears, that kind of
yeah,
draws in.
yeah. It's definitely one of those like you either love it or you hate it. I feel
Yeah.
like I know people who are like, dude, I cannot stand this band. like everyone hopped on this hype train. I'm like, oh,
Right,
like,
which
yeah,
I'm that
yeah,
guy. I'm the
true.
one that I'm not jumping on that bandwagon. I'm just like,
Yeah,
not for
yeah.
me.
And I wasn't going to at first, like, because I was introduced to them on tour, and someone showed me them. And I was like, it's whatever. And then like I kept hearing about them on TikTok and all that, and they're like, oh, they like I kept hearing about the summoning and all that. I was like, all right, you know what, whatever. Let me listen to this. Let me listen to some of this. So I listened to it, and it took me a few times to listen to it before like really getting into it. But I was like, okay, this is interesting. But a lot of it was like, oh, that's weird. That like that's different. But
Uh-huh.
like because they started, they started doing like some of the funky stuff and all that. And there are different things like that. Like that I do think is cool, but it is true. There is like a lot of hype train behind it. But I'm also very much like I'm a fan of Between the Buried and Me. So
Yep.
like whenever I hear people doing just like weird stuff like in music, it gets my attention, you know?
Right.
So like those weird changes and all that stuff, or like weird instrument sounds and all that,
Right.
it gets my attention.
I guess like you're saying with that, for me, it would have been like Kellen Quinn. Like
Yeah.
when I first heard Kellen, I'm not even gonna lie. Before I knew that Kellen was obviously a dude, I
Yeah.
straight up thought it was a female. Like his
Yeah.
voice is so unique, and you wouldn't know unless you've watched a YouTube video or something when they
Yeah.
first came out that he was a guy, because his
Yeah.
voice is so unique. And it's funny because when they first came out, Hot Topic was selling their album, and I bought it, and I plugged it into my mom's car, put it in the CD player, and we're listening to a couple songs. And my mom looks over at me and she goes, "This girl is a really great singer." And I
Yeah.
started dying laughing. I said, "Mom," I said, "This is gonna blow your
That's a
mind."
guy.
She said, "That's a guy, right?" I said, "Yeah." She said, "Oops."
Yeah. It's same thing with like it's funny, in high school and like early college, like early to
Uh,
mid college, I hated A Day to Remember and Bring Me the Horizon. I
yeah,
hated them. Couldn't stand them for some reason. I think, and what it was that like everyone was, because I used to be the guy that was like, if a bunch of people are into it, I'm not into it.
yeah, I feel
Like
you.
I used to be that guy or whatever. So like so many people that I knew were into A Day to Remember, and well, so it was A Day to Remember, 3 Days Grace, and Bring Me the Horizon were the three that I couldn't stand. Um, now you know, and it's not even because I just hated these bands, whatever. I just didn't really get too into them. Like I had heard their music a lot, and I knew their music a lot just because everyone played it, and I just couldn't get behind it until years later. Like I think um I had seen Bring Me the Horizon at a show, and they did really well, and I was like,
Right.
okay. I mean, this is like they were doing pretty good, and I had heard like from them it was more of like I had heard that they were bad live,
Hmm.
and I'm sure they were bad. They were definitely bad live, like earlier on, whatever.
Oh, like 2008, Bring Me the
Yeah,
Horizon? No, that in my opinion, they were not a good band. And
yeah,
they're one of my favorites now, but back then I did not
yeah.
like them.
Now, like they're one of my favorites now. Like they're one of my most listened to bands. Same thing with The Day to Remember. Like out of nowhere, I was just like, you know what? Let me listen to this band, and like I know a lot of these songs. Let me listen to this band and like see if I can actually vibe to it. And I turns out I did, and was like, okay. So I fell in love with them as well. Um, I still hate 3 Days Grace. Like
Right.
I still can't stand them.
I
And
mean, there's a
there's no
couple songs
reason
by them I like.
there's no reason why either. It's just I never liked that everyone was so into them, and then
Mhm.
I you know growing up in life, I was just like, I still just don't like him. Whatever. I
It'd
might
be
I
like
might
that.
I might know their I hate everything about you and all their other songs and all that, but you know, I don't know. It's weird. I might even sing along to it. I just don't like them.
It's funny, like if
But to
somebody
each
puts
their
on
own.
a song from a band I don't like, but then all of a sudden like they start singing it, I'm like, all
And
right.
you're just nodding all the lyrics, like, yeah.
Yeah, you're like just belting every lyric out. It's like
And you're like,
what
wait,
was that? What's that one song that everybody got behind in like the early 2000s? Not Chet Guess Juliet. What was the other? What the hell is that song called?
Paramore.
No, I actually like Paramore.
Yeah.
Uh, God, why can I not think of it? Uh, I don't know. It's not Dear Maria, not by All Time Low.
Oh, Hey There, Delilah
There you go.
by Plain
Boom.
White Tees.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that song, dude, it was so overplayed in my opinion, and
Yeah,
everybody
it
just
was.
kept playing "Hey There, Delilah," and I was like, "Why are y'all listening to this? It's so depressing. It just makes you want to go and sit in a room and cry for hours."
But then you listen to it so much that you know every word, and you're
Right,
like, "Oh,
right,
shoot." It's like because you hear it played everywhere, so it's like, well, I know all the words to the song now, and
right.
I can sing it with all the people who are just singing it for for to be sad,
That
I
was like
guess.
me in middle school, dude. The first band that one of my buddies gave me a CD to, and I had no clue who they were at the time, was Hawthorne Heights. And now
Yeah,
Hawthorne Heights is one of my all-time favorite bands.
really
I I
nice.
love JT Woodruff. Uh, that would be like I was asking you earlier, who would be like somebody you'd want to work with?
Yeah,
If I could bring probably anybody on a podcast, it'd be JT Woodruff and Shane Told from Silverstein
yeah. That's
because I love JT's voice. I've always loved his voice. He's got a unique voice, and as they've aged as a group with Hawthorne Heights, they've only gotten better and better. And it's the same with Silverstein. With 25 years of them making music,
Mhm.
I've seen them back in April on the 25th tour. Amazing. I saw them on their 15-year tour, and they were amazing. And I'm like, dude, 10 years from those two dates, and I was like, they only get better and better and better with age.
Yeah,
And I was like, it's almost like a bourbon. It gets
yeah.
better with aging.
I've seen both those bands. I saw Hawthorne Heights in high school with Plain White Tees, and it was them, Plain White Tees, Reliant K, and Emery.
Ooh,
So
that's a
that
solid lineup.
yeah, so that was an interesting lineup. It was really solid. And then what was it with what was the other band? It was we were talking about Hawthorne Heights, and we were talking about
Silverstein.
Silverstein. I saw Silverstein with Norma Jean, the Chariot, and Horse the band
Uh huh.
at a little joint in Fort Lauderdale. And
Hold
that
on,
was
give me
that was
2 seconds,
wild.
and I'll grab something for you that I
Yeah.
actually just recently got.
Okay.
Uh, hold on, give me 1 second. Oh, it's over here. So this right here, I originally went to the Silverstein with Real Friends, and I met every member of Real Friends. And I originally bought one of their tour vinyl tour exclusive albums.
Hmm.
It came in this beautiful, like almost like a coral like orangey color,
Okay.
and it was beautiful. But you could only get it on tour. Well, they signed it. I get it home. 2 days later, I go to open it. The daggum signatures that they signed on the album bled through and went onto the album and ruined it. And it had
Oh,
massive scratches. So, I immediately looked on, their website, and I was like, how can I get in touch with them because I paid $40. I was like, I would love to get a new album.
yeah.
So, I reached out. I ended up getting in contact with Kyle from their band, which is one of their lead guitarists. I reached out to Kyle, and I was like, hey, Kyle, I was like, I sent him pictures of the album to show him proof, that I'm not just some dude trying to get a free album out
Yeah.
when I paid for it. And he was like, yeah, man. He was like, I'll send you another one free of charge, blah, blah, blah. He was like, unfortunately, we don't have that album. But he sent me this one free of charge. I have not opened it yet.
Nice.
I love this album. One of my favorite bands is them. And along with it, he asked me, he said, would you like me to sign this one? I said, absolutely not. I said, I got one that's already signed. I told him what my plan is. I'm going to get a picture frame, and I'm going to do the album with the actual CD and the frame together. Okay. And I'm going to put it side by side. And I said, instead, send me a signed poster.
Nice.
So they sent me that. I don't know if the camera's giving it
quality. Yeah, I can see it.
They signed the whole poster for me. And, I'm going to put that in there with it probably. And it's funny that the band is called Real Friends, because when I reached out to them, they really were like some real friends to me. They were like, hey, we want to take care of our fans. And,
That's awesome. I mean, that's the best thing is, being able to talk to and reach out to your fans and all that.
Right.
And making things right when things might be wrong or whatever.
Right.
Or not wrong, but when things happen.
I would love to have one. I seen on y'all's. I would love to have one of those little wristbands that y'all got.
Yeah, man, we have a ton of those still. I could send you one or whatever,
All right, yeah, for sure. When we get off the live, I'll shoot you my address. I'm obviously not going to say it over live.
Yeah.
I don't need a bunch of randoms know where I live. But I got a couple more questions since we're at about an hour.
Okay.
I know you're probably ready to get up out of that chair, stretch your legs. So I'm going to ask a couple more, and then we'll get out of here, brother.
Okay, sounds good.
So I guess I won't go off this sheet, but I saw y'all played that show thing for Fozzy and Chris Jericho.
Yes.
What was that like?
Dude, it was so much fun. I mean, so I grew up with wrestling and all that. Like my dad was always into wrestling and everything like that. So, to even be considered to go on this with Chris Jericho and all that, was, just really cool to us.
Right.
So, we got the opportunity to go on, and it was a lot of fun. It was really cool because we were treated like we were I guess we were treated like we were rock stars on there, I guess. But it wasn't it wasn't weird either. It wasn't fans were coming up to you or being weird and all that stuff.
Right, and being groupies.
Yeah, it was you were just walking around the cruise ship, just kind of hanging out. Our only obligations was to show up for our sets. That was we had an obligation to show up for our sets and to show up for a specific thing, to get a specific, was it a photo thing? I think one specific photo thing we had to go to, but we did that and just their sets, and that was our only responsibility, and we didn't have to carry our stuff to our sets. They had everything ready for us and all that, for both areas and everything. They go and they take everything. They take all your merch and they sell it. They have a store set up for all the bands and all the wrestlers' merches and all that stuff. They have the bands there's several stages going on. There's the main stage outside, which is for some of the bigger bands, and then they have two other stages that are being used for just other sets, whether it be through the night, people are just playing their sets for people to dance to, or they're playing their main sets us, So we played 2 different sets on 2 different days, and we got to hang out with a lot of different people. We met a lot of different people. There was on the pool deck, so they had the stage, and then they also blocked out some of the pool area. There's one pool there's one pool that was still pretty open,
right?
But I think there were 1 or 2 pools that were open, but they blocked out this one area, and that area became the wrestling ring. I
was going to ask you, did they have wrestling?
Oh yeah. So they had wrestling every night. So they would have like a whole production coming out and all that stuff. They would have like their own storylines and everything like that. Like they would do some storylines. Like I don't know if like some of the storylines would like trickle from like AEW or not, because I know like a lot of the wrestlers from there, including Chris Jericho, are all in AEW right now.
Right, with like the learning tree and whatnot.
Yeah, but like when we went on it, you know, it was really cool, like seeing like some people that we had, you know, seeing wrestlers that we had known of, like the Big Show was like just walking around.
Oh, that's cool. And I hear he's a super, super nice guy.
He is so nice. Like he is super nice, and he's like, you know, my dad caught him in. Well, we caught him in the elevator, very early on in the, and we were, you know, we go on like the same green room and all that stuff, whatever, like upstairs. Now, like he has like access to like other things because he is like he's like the main, like not the main, but like the he's like the guest of honor, I guess, like the host, guest of honor guy, I guess.
Right.
Between him and Brad Williams being the comedic guest of honor.
I was gonna ask, did you get to meet him? Because I seen he was on that thing. And he is hilarious.
He's hilarious, dude. Like he's like one of like he's like one of me and my dad's like favorite comedians too. Like, you know, we always love his stuff and whatever. So to see that he was going on it too, was just like even more hype, like when we were like getting on it. It was hype in general just to get onto it, but then they started bringing in like who the guests were coming on and all that. And we're like, oh, this is so cool. So it was a lot of fun. You know, we hope to do it again. Now they do have like that company. They do other cruises with Norwegian as well. So like they do like they do a couple of cruises, like they do like a metal cruise and all that stuff as well. That are a little more geared towards like different genres and everything like that. So we would, you know, we'd love to tap into some of those, like do like an all metal cruise and all that.
That would be cool.
You know, this cruise is really cool, but a lot of it is like cover bands. Yeah. So like there are some bands that have like their own stuff, whatever, but you're on a cruise, so like a lot of it is like cover stuff, and that's totally fine. You know, that's totally cool. Obviously, like Fozzy does their own original stuff as well, but then Chris also has another band that he comes out with and does covers with as well. So it's like, you know, the best thing you would want to do is like do like rock style covers or something like that on there. You know, things that like a lot of people know and everything like that. Like us doing our set and all that was fun, and you know, whatever. But you really shine like doing covers on those kind of things as well. You know.
No, speaking of covers, do you all personally have a cover that you bring out for certain shows?
We haven't brought them out for shows in a while. But we do have a Christmas cover out that we did with Rockfest Records. It was "Oh Come All Ye Faithful." So we have that cover out, like recorded. We've also done live acoustically. We have done Everlong by Foo Fighters.
Right.
We've done Numb by Linkin Park. We have done Ain't No Grave by Johnny Cash.
Ooh.
So we've done a couple, like, and we, you know, Marco and I, like, we're used to doing like worship and all that stuff. So if you just like throw in like some like worship chords or whatever, like we can easily like throw a quick worship set together for churches or whatever. Which we've had to do actually. Like we've played a festival, and then like they'd be like, hey, like can you play worship the next day? And we're like, sure, why not?
Right.
You know, like we can do that, that's fine. So but yeah, like that's not a whole lot of covers, no, but we do want to do more covers. You know, I love covers. Marco does a lot of covers like on like his personal, and we are working on a cover that I don't know is being released or not. It's not through Amongst the Giants. It's just through like us and a couple of friends. But we were really hype on the new Sonic movie. So we wrote a cover of Live and Learn from Sonic Adventure 2, since that's what the movie was kind of based off.
Right.
So just like some random music that we love from video games and all that stuff.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Now, are you, since we were talking wrestling, are you going to watch All In on Saturday?
Probably, yeah.
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 I'm unfortunately going to miss that one because, they're bringing what was it? Saturday night main event is the same night, which I think that, and they were doing that, I think on
Saturday.
purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're going to bring for Saturday. That's coming to Atlanta. I looked at tickets for that. I was like, dang, I really want to go to that. And then I saw for one night, just for one night, they're selling it for $250 for nosebleed. I was like, nah. Yeah.
For main event or for
main event. And then for the smaller one, because they're doing it at two different venues. So for the smaller one, it's a lot more expensive.
Yeah.
So, I was just like, whatever.
I'm probably going to be watching main event.
Right.
But I'll probably be watching that late though, because I think I have an event with my dad on Saturday. Like I'm gonna be working with him. But yeah, like because we watch most of the like WWE pay-per-views and all that stuff.
Right.
It's all on Peacock and everything.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. That's why I'm gonna watch, WWE instead of paying whatever $40-$50 for.
Plus, like everything they're doing with John Cena is like gold. So it's like, their whole storyline with that is gold and everything like that.
So a fun fact there with the John Cena stuff, he obviously beat Cody. Cody Rhodes used to be my neighbor when I grew up.
Really?
Yeah, Cody Rhodes. I was on a wrestling team, and Cody was the one that actually paid for everything that my wrestling program had.
What?
So all of our mats were paid for by Cody, all of our singlets, all of our shoes, all of our wrestling stuff. And our principal got pissed off because, we wanted our motto was MTXE, which stands for mental toughness, extra effort. So we had that on the back of our singlets. And then on the front, we had, our high school name, which was Laster. We had Laster across the chest. And he came over to our wrestling coach and he was like, y'all can't have the all black jerseys. They have to be school colors. And he was like, well, are you paying for them? And he's like, no, I'm not going to. And he was like, well, if you're not going to pay for them, then shut your mouth, because Cody's paying all this money, out of pocket for our mats, for our singlets, for our shoes, for everything our wrestling program has. And he says, if you're not paying for it, then why are you sitting here, griping about what color we're wearing? And so the principal made a deal, and he told us that, if when we go to regional duels and stuff like that, that we have to wear school colors if our wrestlers make it to the finals. So our kids had to go change out of the black singlets straight into school colors just because of him. It was a bunch of bogus stuff, but we had Cody come through our program, Cody Rhodes, and then what was the girl with? You said who?
Did you meet him?
Oh yeah, he was. I met him, and Dusty Rhodes was my neighbor as well. With him being father, Dusty used to coach football at my high school as well back in the day. So okay. So Dusty was actually one of my brother's football coaches before.
Wow.
After he retired from WWF, which would have been Manor.
Yeah.
So, and Dusty was a super nice dude, and and Cody's awesome. I love Cody. Cody's really cool. There's actually that documentary, on Peacock about his whole career coming up.
Yeah.
And on that documentary, our wrestling coach is actually in that documentary, and it's pretty funny because he's sitting there in the documentary and he's like, Cody wouldn't be where he's at without me. And then he kind of looks away and he starts laughing. He goes, Yes, he is. He goes, because he's Cody freaking Rhodes.
Yeah.
You know, Cody's incredible, dude, because
He
Cody,
is.
as even in high school, Cody was winning, dude, at his sophomore year. I think he was wrestling like 130-ish, something like that.
Uh-huh.
And as a sophomore, he went I think 25-1.
Wow.
And you know him and you know Xavier Woods.
Yeah.
So him and Xavier Woods, they really don't like each other. That rivalry, when you see them go at it on WWE, they really don't like each other because they went to rival schools. Which the way that our school systems worked was my school with me and Cody Rhodes was here. The school where Xavier went was 5 miles apart from our school. So we really didn't like Sprayberry, and Sprayberry didn't like us. But you know,
Gotcha.
so, and then the reason they don't like each other is because every time they would fight each other at region, Cody would beat Xavier.
Yeah.
And then, of course, there was one time where they were at a bowling alley and, you know, Xavier walked in and I guess he said something disrespectful to Cody's girlfriend and he shoved Cody and Cody just beat his butt right there in the middle of, you know.
Yeah.
He said, no, you're not going to come in here and disrespect my girl and then think you're going to beat me in wrestling. He said, so I'm going to beat you here. And then he said, I think duels were like that next following weekend. He said, I'm going to beat your ass at duels too. And he did. But yeah, man, that's all I got for this show and this edition of Chords and Chaos.
Yeah.
And I appreciate you coming on.
Dude, thanks for having me on here.
Yes, sir. And your time was welcomed.
Yeah.
We appreciate you. So thank you, brother. You have a blessed night. And when we get done here, I will send you out my address so you can send that over to me whenever.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right, Brian, you have a good night, brother.
All right, you have a good night as well.
And thank you, everybody that tuned in tonight. We appreciate you. Peace, y'all. Y'all have a blessed night.